Hey, take a breath. I know it hurts when she starts pulling away. The messages slow down. The calls stop. You feel like you're losing her and you don't know why. But listen to me closely. This isn't the end. In fact, it might be the best thing that ever happened to you, if you handle it the right way. Today, I'll show you exactly how to re-attract her without chasing, without begging, and without losing your self-respect. Let's begin. Step 1. Stop reacting. Start resetting. When a woman starts to lose interest, most men go into panic mode. It's a natural reaction. Your heart sinks, your mind races, and you feel like you need to do something right now to save the connection. So you start texting her more often, checking if she's okay, trying to remind her how much you care. You might even apologize for things you didn't do, hoping that being nice will bring her back. But here's the hard truth. That energy feels desperate, even if your intentions are good. And the more pressure she feels from you, the faster she pulls away. Why? Because nobody, man or woman, wants to feel like someone is clinging to them out of fear. It's not love she feels in those moments. It's pressure. It's anxiety. It's someone trying to grab onto her when she needs space to breathe. That's why the first and most powerful thing you can do is this. Pause. Don't react. Don't chase. Don't try to fix it. Instead, reset. Not to play mind games, but to show that your emotions are under control, to remind yourself that you still have power, dignity, and peace within you, even when someone else starts slipping away. Let her feel your absence for a while, not in a cold or angry way, but in a calm, self-respecting way. Your silence is not punishment. It's space. Space for her to reflect. Space for you to refocus. Space for both of you to see things more clearly. And here's the surprising part. When you stop overreacting, when you stop trying so hard to fix things, something shifts. She may begin to wonder, why did he go so quiet? Why isn't he chasing? That curiosity can open the door to renewed interest. So remember, pulling back isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Silence isn't giving up, it's self-control. Sometimes the most attractive thing you can do is nothing. Step 2. Pull back into your power. When a woman pulls away or starts losing interest, it can shake you to your core. You begin overthinking everything. You replay old conversations, question your every move, and wonder what changed. Slowly, without even realizing it, your entire mental and emotional world begins to revolve around her. You make her the center of your thoughts, your energy, your time. You stop living your own life and start living in reaction to hers. But here's something most men don't realize. The more you make her your focus, the more you lose your center. And the more you lose your center, the less attractive you become. Women are drawn to men who are grounded, men who know who they are, where they're going, and what they value. They feel it in the way you speak. They feel it in how you carry yourself. They feel it in your silence, your calm, your stillness. So if she's losing interest, it's not time to panic. It's time to return to your foundation. Ask yourself honestly, who was I when she first liked me? What energy did I carry back then? Was I chasing her? Or was I simply living in my purpose and enjoying my life? That man, the one she was drawn to, was focused. He had passions. He had self-respect. He had goals that weren't centered around a woman. But slowly, bit by bit, you might have drifted away from him. You started waiting on her texts. You skipped the gym. You lost motivation. You started reacting to her moods instead of staying steady in your own. Now is the time to reclaim your power. But that doesn't mean acting cold, disappearing, or playing games. It means choosing to reinvest your energy back into yourself. Go to the gym, not to show off to her, but to strengthen your body and build discipline again. Discipline builds confidence. Confidence builds presence. And presence is deeply attractive. Start learning again, whether it's reading books, picking up a new skill, or challenging yourself in a new way. Not to impress anyone, but to feed your own mind. Because a man who is constantly evolving becomes harder to forget. Reconnect with the people who build you up, not those who feed your pain. Laugh again. Work on things that excite you. Create a routine that fuels you mentally, emotionally, physically. Because when your days are full, when your life has motion and meaning again, you stop clinging to her energy because you've created your own. And here's what most people miss. You don't need to say anything. You don't need to tell her you've changed. You don't need to explain that you're doing better. She'll feel it, even if you're silent. The world responds to quiet confidence, to stillness without fear, to a man who's not begging for love, but who simply radiates value. And whether she circles back or walks away for good, it doesn't really matter, because you've already won. You've come back home to yourself. And when a man is deeply rooted in who he is, he doesn't chase love. He becomes the kind of man love naturally finds. Step 3. Rebuild mystery, not pressure. After a woman loses interest, most men fall into a trap. They try to grab her attention in obvious ways. They start posting more pictures, showing off what they're doing, trying to appear unbothered when deep down they're hurting. They might post quotes about strength, fun nights out, or gym selfies hoping she'll see them and think, wow, he's doing great without me. But let's be real, she can feel the intention behind it. And if that intention is, I want you to miss me, it comes across as need-driven if it looks confident on the outside. That kind of attention-seeking doesn't create attraction. It creates pressure. It tells her, I'm still trying to get your attention because I haven't truly moved forward. And pressure never pulls someone closer. It does the opposite. It makes her feel like she already knows the full story. What you want, what you're doing, why you're doing it. And when she already knows everything, the spark of curiosity dies. Mystery is powerful. Not the fake kind that comes from playing games or disappearing just to make her chase, but the natural mystery that happens when you're genuinely living, focused on your own life, and no longer broadcasting your every move. When she doesn't know exactly what's going on with you, when she can't predict what you'll say, what you'll post, or where your head's at, that space creates questions, and questions stir feelings. Think about it. It's not always what you say that pulls someone in. It's what you don't say. It's the quiet changes they notice without explanation. Maybe she sees that you haven't posted in a while and starts wondering what you're focused on. Maybe she hears from someone that you've been working on something important, but you didn't feel the need to talk about it online. Maybe she sends a message, and this time, you're not rushing to reply within seconds. Not because you're playing games, but because you're actually living. You're present in real life, not obsessing over how she sees you. This isn't about punishing her with silence or pretending you don't care. It's about finding balance where you're still kind, still respectful, but no longer emotionally available at the push of a button. Because here's the truth. When a woman feels like she has full control over your attention, she takes it for granted. But when your attention becomes selective, calm, intentional, and rare, she begins to notice its value again. And that's what rebuilding mystery really means. It means becoming the kind of man who isn't always on display, who isn't always explaining himself, who doesn't need to shout about his growth because it's obvious in how he moves. She doesn't need to know what you're doing every hour. In fact, it's better if she doesn't. Let her wonder. Let her feel the absence. Let her remember how it felt when she didn't fully understand you, when there was more to discover. Because it's not the constant updates that create attraction. It's the sense that there's more to you now than she expected. And when you carry yourself with quiet strength, steady purpose, and just a little mystery, she doesn't just remember who you were. She becomes curious about who you've become. And that curiosity is how the spark begins again. Step 4. Let go of the old version of he. Let's be honest, Tone, of the hardest parts of losing someone isn't just the silence, the distance, or the unanswered messages. It's the quiet grief of realizing that the version of her you fell for doesn't exist anymore. You might not be in love with who she is today. You might still be in love with the way she used to make you feel. The girl who smiled when she saw your name pop up on her phone. The girl who laughed effortlessly, who gave you her full attention, who made you feel like you were the only one in the room. The girl who used to talk about the future with you as if it was already written. And now, that girl feels like a stranger. The energy changed. Her tone feels colder. Her replies are slower. Her presence feels more distant. And yet, deep down, you keep hoping she'll come back, not just physically, but emotionally. You hope that somehow the old her will return if you say the right thing, wait long enough, or prove how much you care. But here's a truth you have to face with courage. She's not that person anymore. People grow, people change, and feelings evolve even when we don't want them to. And the longer you hold on to the memory of who she used to be, the longer you stay stuck in the past. It's like reaching for a shadow, something that's no longer there. And every time you do, you remind yourself of what's missing instead of what's still possible. You can't force her to go back. You can't revive a connection that no longer fits the people you've both become. And you especially can't grow as a man if you're constantly chasing a memory. Letting go doesn't mean erasing her from your life. It doesn't mean forgetting the good moments or pretending she didn't matter. It simply means accepting this truth. The version of her you miss is gone. And that's okay. Because maybe, just maybe, there's a new version of her, wiser, more grounded, who might reconnect with you in the future. But more importantly, there's a new version of you that's waiting to be built. A version of you who doesn't need to chase love to feel whole. A version who learns, who heals, who becomes more than who he was when it all fell apart. And whether she comes back or not, whether life brings her back to your path or leads her elsewhere, you still win. Because you've stopped chasing ghosts. You've stopped defining your value by someone else's ability to love you the way they once did. You've shifted the focus from what you lost to what you can now become. So stop replaying old texts. Stop scrolling through memories hoping to feel the same spark. Stop telling yourself that if she just came back, everything would feel okay again. Start living like the man who doesn't need the past to feel powerful. Start showing up for yourself in the present, because that's the only place your healing and strength can grow. She changed. You changed. That's not a tragedy. That's life. And in that change is your chance to evolve into someone even stronger, wiser, and more whole than before. Because when you let go of what was, you finally make room for what can be. And trust me, peace, strength, and the right kind of love always find a man who walks forward without clinging to yesterday. Step 5. Attract through strength, not strategy. Most men, after a woman pulls away, start looking for a quick fix. They jump on YouTube, scroll through relationship forums, ask friends, hoping to find the magic text that will change everything. A line that will bring her back. A message that will make her miss you. A strategy that will undo the silence. But here's the truth no one wants to hear. You can't talk your way back into someone's heart. You can't convince someone to feel something they don't genuinely feel anymore. Real attraction, deep, lasting attraction is not built through words. It's built through energy, presence, strength. And no, strength doesn't mean shutting down emotionally or pretending you don't care. It's not about becoming distant or cold just to seem mysterious. True strength is calm. It's the man who doesn't get shaken just because someone pulls away. It's the man who remains rooted in who he is, regardless of what's happening around him. When you constantly try to win her back, when you chase her attention, when you make her responses the center of your emotional world, she feels that. And no matter how nice or well-crafted your words are, that neediness bleeds through. It creates pressure. It makes her feel responsible for your emotions. And that's not attractive. That's exhausting. But the moment you stop chasing her validation, something changes. The moment you stop needing her to make you feel important and start remembering your own worth, that energy becomes magnetic. She doesn't feel your panic anymore. She doesn't sense that you're trying to impress her or win her back. Instead, she feels your peace. She sees a man who is focused, who is steady, who respects himself enough not to beg for love or shrink himself just to keep someone around. And that presence, that quiet strength, is what stirs her curiosity again. It's not desperation. It's not performance. It's not a tactic. It's real. You begin to live from a place of inner wholeness. You're no longer reacting to her emotions, you're leading your own. You're no longer waiting for her call, you're moving forward, building, growing. You're not playing hard to get. You're just too focused on becoming great to chase temporary validation. That's what re-attraction is really about. It's not manipulation. It's transformation. When you become a man who is strong, centered, growing, and grounded, women feel it without you having to say a word. She'll feel it in your silence. She'll feel it in your calm. She'll feel it in the way you stopped chasing and started rising. Because the strongest men aren't loud. They're not desperate. They're not obsessed with outcomes. They lead themselves first, and everything else follows. So, if you want her to notice you again, don't post for her, don't chase her, don't script your every move. Become the kind of man she would have to grow into to keep up with. And if she does come back, great, it'll be because she chose to step into your energy, not because you pulled her in with a trick. And if she doesn't, you're still better, stronger, wiser, and already on the path to someone who sees your worth without needing to be convinced. Because in the end, re-attraction isn't about getting her back. It's about getting yourself back, so you can attract the kind of love that aligns with your highest self. She may have pulled away. She may have gone quiet. The calls slowed down, the messages changed, and something in her energy just faded. And yes, let's not sugarcoat it, that hurts. It's the kind of pain that sits in your chest when you wake up and keeps you staring at the ceiling late at night. But here's what you need to understand deep in your soul. Just because she lost interest does not mean you lose yourself. You don't lose your value. You don't lose your future. You don't lose your power. Because the truth is, this was never just about getting her back. This was about getting you back. This was about becoming the man you were always meant to be. Before the fear, before the doubt, before you started putting your identity in someone else's hands, somewhere along the way, maybe you forgot how powerful you really are. Maybe you started believing that your worth depended on how she saw you, that your happiness came from her attention, that your peace depended on whether or not she stayed. But not anymore. Not now. Because now, you've started doing something most men never do. You've turned the pain into power. You've turned the silence into growth. You've turned the heartbreak into a wake-up call. And what you're rebuilding, it's bigger than the relationship. It's deeper than the connection. It's about the man in the mirror, the one who forgot who he was and is now rising stronger than ever. You no longer need to prove your worth. You no longer need to beg for love, because real love doesn't come when you're desperate for it. It comes when you're ready to receive it from a place of strength and wholeness. The most powerful men in this world don't chase. They create. They lead. They grow. They heal. And because of that, they naturally attract the kind of love that aligns with who they've become. So if she comes back one day, great. But she won't be coming back to the same man. She'll be coming back to someone deeper, wiser, calmer, better. And if she doesn't, you've still already won. Because the man you're becoming now doesn't settle. He doesn't shrink to be chosen. He doesn't beg for attention, affection, or approval. He chooses himself first. And in doing so, he attracts a life and a love that reflects his true worth. So let her go if she must. Let the old story fade if it's over. Because the new one you're writing, it's more powerful than anything you've lost. You're not broken. You're becoming. And when a man truly becomes everything he was meant to be, the right woman always finds her way to him. And if she doesn't, he's already complete without her.